Welcome back, Geordies. It's Adam from Two for Joy. And before you say it, I know I look rough. I feel rough. But I've got to give you the news from the thrilling penalty shootout as Newcastle draw 3-0 with Bournemouth and go on to a 7-6 victory in penalties, with Aaron Ramsdale making 3 saves and leading us to the glory of going through in the FA Cup third round, something we've failed to achieve for a lot of seasons and failed to achieve to beat Bournemouth for a lot of seasons. But a great start to our FA Cup going into the semi-final of the Carabao against Man City. And you'll have to bear with me with this because I've got a lot to go through. But I've also got some interesting links to players to be signed for Newcastle. And having just seen Tino Livramento go off with what looks like a pulled hamstring and leaving us with no Fabian Schär, Lascelles to be sold in January, Dan Burn still a few weeks away, now Tino Livramento out, our back line is as scarce as it comes. With only Alex Murphy and Lewis Miley as cover, this leaves us in a very precarious position. But let's get into it. So we'll start with Bournemouth versus Newcastle, an FA Cup victory. And honestly, a strange setup, a strange start. What everybody's been calling for, to see Voltemade play as a 10 and Wissa to play as the front line. To be honest, it was a really strange shift. And I can understand the changes, and there was a lot of them. Namely, Trippier coming in, Tino Livramento coming in, Ramsey and Willock in the middle. But the front line was probably the most interesting thing, with Harvey Barnes being given that role on the left. And what seemed to be Wissa and Voltemade kind of interchanging. At points I thought we were a 4-4-1-1, and then at other points I thought it was a 4-3-3, and then at other points I thought it was a 4-5-1. So it was interesting to see the change in system. I'm not sure it actually benefited us. I will say Voltemade looked very good as a 10 with Wissa in front of him. And he kind of had a bit of a torrid time when Wissa came off and he went up front on his own. But Harvey Barnes to start the scoring in the second half. Fantastic finish once again. Nick Voltemade as the 10 putting him through. Really good pass, really good finish. And then basically Newcastle doing what Newcastle do best and sit back and allow Bournemouth to come on strong. And within 10 minutes, Alex Scott puts one away at the back post and we're back level. And we seemed to pick up from there, and I thought we were on the front foot. And then out of nowhere, David Brooks with a fantastic curled shot into the bottom right-hand corner. And I think the defender was stood in the way of, or outsighted for Ramsdale. But it was a great finish. And then, unbelievably, Sandro Tonali brought down in the 95th minute of injury time by Petrovic. And Anthony Gordon steps up, and the coolest finish you'll ever see. A fantastic penalty. And then we head into extra time. And at this point, I'm thinking, I don't want extra time. We've got Man City in 3 days' time. You know, this is... I'd kind of rather we went out of the cup as a free hit and we move on to Man City. But extra time we go, and I thought the boys put in a shift. And then Harvey Barnes, once again, in the second half of extra time, scores a fantastic goal. And then sure enough, I'm thinking we've got 2 minutes to play, the end of extra time, and Marcus Tavernier on 121 minutes sticks the ball away. Sven Botman can't keep him out. And typical, back to 3-3. An unbelievable game. After the Leeds game, to see us 3-3 with Bournemouth after a 4-3 midweek, it's just chaos. Every game is absolute chaos. So I'm thinking that's it, we're off to penalties. And then the last gasp chance for Anthony Gordon, 6 yards out as Harvey Barnes whips the ball across. And Anthony Gordon fluffs his lines and misses the ball completely. And it's just typical. And as we go into penalties, Nick Voltemade misses the first penalty off the bar. And then Aaron Ramsdale makes the save to bring us back level. And then Bruno misses. And I'm thinking, that's it, we're done. And sure enough, Bournemouth miss another. And we go the full 5 penalties level. And then basically some cool finishes from the players that weren't elected to take the first 5 penalties. I thought the penalty takers were really good tonight. Especially, I was really pleased for Lewis Hall and Lewis Miley. Big boost in confidence taking penalties. I thought they did really well. Even Malik Chow, fantastic penalty. And unfortunately for Bournemouth, Diakite, who hasn't scored yet for Bournemouth, misses his penalty. Aaron Ramsdale makes a fantastic save. And overall, a well-deserved win. Probably not the way we'd like to see it, but I felt we were the better team overall. And then, like I say, with the injuries, leaves the links to come in. And the linked players, I'll go through. If you want to see a deep dive into these players, let me know in the comments. But I'll just go with the names and then give you a brief rundown of who they are and where they're from. But the first one I'm kind of going to dismiss because I've done him before and I don't actually think we'll go for him, is Nathan Ake. Now, Nathan Ake's name is still floating around, but I don't feel with his age, his wages, the fact he's coming from Man City and the price to play time for the position that he plays, with Dan Burn coming back in a couple of weeks, we'll have 2 left-sided centre-backs. And while he would be good cover for Lewis Hall, this guy wants first-team football. And I very much doubt we're dropping an in-form Lewis Hall for Nathan Ake to come in at left-back. So I think that one is kind of a non-starter straight from the off. Let me know what you think in the comments. But Giorgio Scalvini, previously linked with us for 2 seasons now, I believe. The Italian 6'4", 21-year-old right-footed centre-back from Atalanta is currently being valued at around 40 million euros. But Atalanta have sold another centre-back, one of their top centre-backs. So I think the asking price may be pushed up to around 50 to 55 million euros, which I think is quite high for him, as much as he is a top-quality centre-back and probably is as plug-and-play as you like. He's had 2 serious injuries in the last 2 seasons, an ACL and a dislocated shoulder that required surgery. He's only started 7 games this year and managed to get 2 goals, so he's in quite good form for the minutes that he's played. But I'm not sure whether Newcastle will spend that much money in this January transfer window. But I do feel that we will pull the trigger on somebody now. The next up, we have Dayan Mathele. He's had strong links. I wouldn't really review him. I think he's very raw. I'm not sure he's the right signing for the January window, but his name keeps coming back up and keeps coming back up. He's French, 6'2", 19-year-old, left-footed, left-back and left centre-back from Toulouse. This is kind of his breakout season this year. He's valued at around 8 million euros. It wouldn't surprise me if you end up having to pay around 12 to 15. He's also only recently recovered from knee surgery, although he's made 17 appearances with 1 assist. And then don't ridicule me for butchering this name, but Jacobo Roman Navarros, who is playing for Como. He is a 6'5", 21-year-old centre-back, right-footed. He's valued at 18 million euros. He is previously a Real Madrid youth player, but Real Madrid do have a buyback clause. It's listed they have a buyback clause, but for the life of me, I can't find out anywhere how much they can buy him back for. But he's made 17 appearances with 2 goals. And I would say all 3 of these players are very front foot pressing defenders. They're all ball carriers. They're all ball playing defenders. So ideally, in the mould that Eddie Howe would like to go into, they are all athletes. They're all over 6 foot. They're all big. They're all strong. Kind of sets up with the backline that we've got already. But let me know down in the comments what you think's going to happen. Let me know if you think Newcastle have to pull the trigger now with Tino Livramento, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn and Lascelles rumoured to be on the way out, or whether you think we'll stick with trying to make make do with trying to clone Lewis Miley or play Alex Murphy, who hasn't had many minutes. But if you've liked the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Get involved in the comments. And hopefully, guys, I'll see you when I'm feeling better.